Hello everybody, and welcome to this introduction to plotting in MATLAB. My name is Rickard Johansson and I'm a PhD student at IMT. This is part of lecture material in the course TBMT 19, 33 and 37, and it belongs to ISB group, and it's free to share as long as you say where it's coming from. Okay, so why do we have this lecture or video series? So this is a graphical representation of your project, and if you're taking part of this course, you've seen it before, and you're somewhere here in the middle. So this means you will soon hand in your second version of your documents and have your midterm presentation. And you've probably had some feedback on your first figures, and now you have questions or thoughts about how to improve them, and that's why we're having this short series and lecture to show you how to plot in MATLAB. Okay, so this will be a 4-part series, and in the first part we will show you some of the usual things you do in MATLAB while plotting, and I will show you some of the basic tools and how to customize your plots and some simple editing. And then in the following parts we will show you some more advanced things and how to do this in a script-based way, so you can automate it. And yeah, that's it. So let's go on. So during these videos I will rely extensively on some coding examples I have prepared, and all the examples have a number, and when they are used this is shown in a very clear way in this presentation, and you can find the code for these examples on LISAM along with these slides for these presentations. And the code would look like this. There will be lots of cells here with code for how to generate these. Okay, so a cell is when you've declared a cell with double percentage signs. The point with this is that you can run and execute only the code in one particular cell by right-clicking on the cell and choosing evaluate current cell like this, or it's Control Enter in Windows. And last year this was a lecture, but now this is a video series, which means that you can pause this video and go to the examples during this video series if you feel like it, or you can wait for the end and do it all at once, or you can just ignore it, whatever you prefer. Okay, so here are some of the things that you usually see in MATLAB. This is the traditional plot. You've probably seen it before. For example, in the computer lab, and there you probably also saw this way, which is called arrow bar, and it's exactly like plot. You can have continuous lines, but most importantly you have the standard deviations here. You can have pie charts and other types of charts, histograms, and here we have a bar diagram. You can have 3D surfaces, and for more examples you can go to these web addresses and check out some of the material there. What about this then? What if you have images? Well, you can import images into MATLAB, but it's not easy to work with them, or editing them is basically out of the question. So you shouldn't use MATLAB for this. I recommend Photoshop or PowerPoint, Adobe Illustrator, whatever you usually work with. So the focus of this lecture series then will be usually with the plot command as the example, but most of the techniques I discuss here will be directly applicable to any of the chart types or plotting types you use. Okay, so the basic plot, you've probably seen this before. And here's the first example, and all other examples will look like this. So it's a clear reference to the code, and you can go and check it out. But the plot command, it's plot, you have an x vector and a y vector. And this will plot it in the current figure. And the example here is just a straight line. So how about when you want to plot more than one thing in the same window? Well, you use the hold on command. And this will prevent MATLAB from erasing the old plot when you plot the new. And if you at any time want to stop this, you just type hold off to turn it off again. Okay. So here are some of the alternatives sometimes used to plot. Error bar, when you want to plot the data with some noise. And then you have a standard deviation vector here as well. And for an example of this, you can go to the code and look at example 3. Semilog x is like the plot command, but you get a logarithmic x-axis. There's semilog y for the same principle, but with a logarithmic y-axis. There's log for logarithm in both axes. And there's actually a way to change afterwards, which we will talk about further in part 2, I think. So you can always start with plot if you're unsure. Okay, let's talk a little bit how to customize your plot. So when you do the plot command, you can also give an input string here at the end for customization. And this is a string that controls the color of the plot, the marker type, that's which marker you want to see appear here. In this example it's a star, and the line type. So in this example we're plotting red, we're plotting with a star, and we're plotting a solid line. That's what this sign means. And how do we choose this string then? Well, if you type help plot, it will show you how to make this string. And it's basically a combination from these 3 columns. You can pick any of these colors. So these are the standard colors in MATLAB. And the marker types, you can use any of these. And in this case we choose a star. And the line types, you can have a solid line, you can have a dotted line, a dashed line, and a dashed dotted line, or no line. So you can combine these in any combination, or leave one out, or leave all out, etc. The thing to remember when plotting and choosing your colors is that just because you can choose something doesn't mean you should choose something. So here I've plotted a horrible combination of colors and line types. And I stress out again that this is a really bad example, and it's purposefully bad. So you should always think about how will your plot look on a projector, on a computer screen, on a printed A4 paper, on a printed poster. So here we have a yellow function, that is x squared, and we have here a cyan or turquoise or teal dotted line, which is really hard to see. So please stay away from some colors. So let me show you how to change this. So I will briefly switch over to MATLAB. And here this was example 8. So I will go to cell 8 and run this for you. Evaluate current cell. So here is this figure, and let me make it bigger for you. I can change this in this figure. For example, I choose to mark here the x square function, and here I can start by, for example, I can change a lot of things, the data source and lots, but here I will primarily choose a color. So let's choose this purple color, for example. And already we see some improvement. I will change the thickness here of the line. Let's make it really thick. Okay. Now this is much better. And I will also change this one. So let's make it, well, green. And I want to make it solid and not dashed. And I will make it almost as thick. Okay, so now we can actually see what we have on the screen, hopefully. And you can change a lot of things like this. After you plot it, you go to the window and you click around. You can click on a lot of things here and change it. However, that's tiresome to do and you need to do it every time. So in the next video, I will show you how to do this with in a scripting environment, how to do it with code. So you only have to do it once when you code it, and then it will automatically take care of it for you in the future. So that was the end of part 1, and see you in the next video.